Hey guys, today I wanted to go over the top 5 weirdest questions and situations I've been in and kind of how to react when people ask you questions that are not necessarily appropriate for any situation really. So I'm going to start at my bottom one, number 5, babies. It's kind of funny, but they know that they look at me and they see me and that I'm bald and they're like, what is different? They know. Like, I'm not kidding. They'll be like, old enough to be aware but can't like goo goo gaga yet, and they'll just stare at me. Everyone else, they like glance over and then we make eye contact and this baby is just stared at me the whole time. His mom like picked him up and he was still like staring at me like he knew there was something wrong, and he's just a little baby. He's not even 1 yet. How do they know? Like, and it's not just this one little baby. Every child that I run into, there's an instant fascination with like, she has no hair. It is so funny and I love it. And I have made a baby cry at me. I didn't do anything, but he looked at me and he immediately started crying. And as soon as he was turned away from me, he stopped. So we knew it was me that was making him cry. And yeah, so that's my number 5. It was pretty funny. And it happens to a lot of babies up until like their parents know they're old enough that they shouldn't stare, so they're like, shh, stop, don't look. And their whispering is really bad. I can hear you, but I understand. It's okay, get it, they're kids. What's not okay is number 4 is adult staring and stalking. I have been followed through a store, like just so people could stare at me. This lady followed behind me, and I only knew this happened because my mom was with me, and my mom hates it when people stare. Obviously anyone would hate it when it's just like blatant. It's bad. Like, and this one chick followed me around the store just so she didn't even like look at clothes or try to hide. She was just a few paces behind me, but she stood directly behind me so I didn't notice. How to handle that situation? Honestly, I just stare right back. It's equally uncomfortable. I'm used to it by now and I get it, and I know that people do look and that's okay, but it's like once you get a glance, one and done. Yeah, I get that. I do that. We scan people and you're like, cool, that's who you are. But they like full on follow me around, or like the full head as I walk by. It like, it's a little much, people. You don't need the full whip around. So my advice for bald people, if you're really uncomfortable staring, honestly, like, shoulders back, look at them, and it makes them uncomfortable, and they realize to look away. Have done that, and people just continue to stare. So there is no polite way, but if it gets like beyond creepy, like I've had in a few situations, I call them out. I say, hey, can I help you with something? Or do you need something? But I say it in a polite way. It's not an attack on other people, because as soon as you attack them, you become the bad guy, even though it's their fault. Number 3? Yeah, we just did 5 and 4. Number 3 is I get lots of good stuff for being bald because people think I have cancer, and I can't say that this is not necessarily a bad thing on my part, but God gave me baldness and I'm gonna use it to my advantage. When I was first bald, I like looked really sick and I was really sick, so I got more stuff when I looked sick, whereas now people are like, there's like, why is she bald and healthy? That doesn't match. But people will hand me stuff. I'll be at like a fair or something, it'll say fight the good fight, and I'll get like this really nice Lululemon headband. I'm like, thank you, I will. If they aren't gonna ask me any questions, I'm not gonna offer any free responses. If they would like to give me stuff, thank you. People also pay for my dinner. I've been at restaurants and the waiter will come up and be like, your dinner has been paid for tonight. It's like, why? It's like that gentleman over there. And then they tell me a really sad cancer story and I feel really guilty because I was just chilling eating my dinner. And so those situations, I let people feel like they did something good. Because yeah, they paid for my dinner and that was really nice. And a lot of the times, like, the person will be gone before I even have time to say thank you or respond. So how to handle those situations? Honestly, smile and wave. You have baldness. Just let it happen to you. Don't try and like use it, be like, I'm sick, and get stuff out of it, because that like turns it. I have used it to like, I got pulled over the other day, and so I like snatched off my hat immediately out of the hat I was wearing, and I was like hunched over, and I looked at the cop with sad eyes, and I didn't even get a written warning. So go me. I can't say don't use it when it comes in handy, but oh, my puppy's coming in. You can push on the door, come on. I put stuff in front of the door so that it won't just open and close because it squeaks, but she stresses about it. Yep, and now she's getting out of bed. Okay. 2 is random touching. People will come up to me while I'm in a grocery store, and they'll just like, I'll be bending over picking out the type of bread I want to eat, and some weirdo lady comes and like grabs the back of my head like this. I was like, what the heck? And I like elbow her off of me like, what are you doing? I didn't give you any permission to touch me. It's like a pregnant lady being pregnant. You're not allowed to just touch her. Being pregnant isn't like a written permission slip. You can touch me. Being bald is the same thing. Just because I'm bald does not mean you can reach out and touch. And if you ask me like, hey, what's going on with you? Like, can I know? And I say, and then you're like, can I touch your head? Most of the time I will say yes, but like start a conversation with me, get some dialogue. And here's my other puppy, Gooby. Say hi. Oh, lover. Okay, that's him. He's a big licker. Yeah, this video is really going. I love you. So yeah, being bald is not a permission slip to touch. It's not okay. Don't do it. Please don't do it. And they violated your space. I full on condone turning around and smacking them. It was an old lady, so I turned really fast and I was going to, and I was like, but I asked her, I was like, what made you think that was okay? And she was like, I don't know. And then her husband came and tried to defend her for touching me, and I was like, this entire situation is wrong. And I let her know that like it is never okay to come up to someone and do that without their permission. So, and number 1, the worst question I have ever been asked. Someone walked up to me and said, how long do you have to live? I don't care if I have cancer or not, if I'm on death's door and it's 2 days away, or if I'm perfectly healthy. That is not an okay question to ask anyone. It just doesn't matter. I was amazed. This man thought it was okay to ask me that. I just looked at him and I started coughing, and I was like, I have a month left to live. Oh yeah, I used it. I layered it on, and he looked like the color drained from his face. Like, he was like, I thought you were on recovery road. Or like, I was like, no, you didn't. You asked me that question. So I made him feel so guilty for asking. I coughed, and my friend was with me, and I grabbed her hand, and she played along. I wanted to punch this man. There's nothing okay with that at all. Like, I just baffled. I made him feel so bad. I played it out, and he was like, can I buy your groceries? And I said, yes, you can. So there, you are a terrible person, and I'm gonna use you for asking a terrible question. There's a right way to ask questions. People, come up and be polite. If you really are dying to know why I'm bald, you can say, excuse me, can I ask you why you don't have any hair? If you don't have any words for it, it's not like, what's wrong with you? That's another one I get. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with me. What's wrong with you? I have no hair. So there is a way to ask. There is a proper way to react to all situations. And it is only up to the bald person to make the jokes. Let me say this. A friend a couple years ago thought it was okay to tell this old man I have cancer because I told her the story of the person asking me, how long do you have to live? And I was like, no. His wife had just died of cancer, and so this man came up to me after I was playing a volleyball game, and he was crying to me. He's like, you're so strong. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. My friend told you this, and it's true, because she thought it was funny. That is not your job. Only the person who has the baldness can make any kind of joke and use it in the right situation, because that poor old man had a heart-wrenching moment, and gut-wrenching, not heart-wrenching, Like, that's not okay. You can't do that to people who have been afflicted with death in their life. Like, that's not very nice. You don't want it done to you, don't do it to them, please. So yeah, those are my top 5. If you have any weird situations that you want to share, please let me know, but have a great day, everyone.